doing fine. It's a living life.
Namaste, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to The Way Om Yoga. My name is Sarah, and today we are going to be going along with this month's theme, so exploring the 7 Hermetic principles and applying them to our yoga practice. Now today we are on the 5th law, which is the law of rhythm. So everything having its cycles, its due time, its season, and I thought what a better way to honor seasons and cycles of our lives than to do a cooling practice. So depending on what part of the hemisphere you live in, where I live right now, it is extremely hot, so the hot summer months. So we're going to do a practice that is going to cool the body down, pacify the body, and to help us work skillfully with this time of year, okay? So the only props that you're gonna need for this practice is a yoga block and either a chair or an empty wall space. We'll be using that at the end of our practice, okay? So we're gonna get right into it, friends, with some pranayama, some cooling breath work known as shitali, which is a cooling breath practice. So we're going to tap into our inner child here a little bit. So do you remember growing up creating kind of this curled action with your tongue, that taco tongue? So basically that's what we're going to be creating and taking the inhale through that passageway in the tongue. Now I know not everyone can achieve that curl of the tongue, but best possible we'll try to keep like an open round mouth while we take that inhale in. So I'm going to briefly demonstrate what this is going to look like, and then we'll do it all together as a class, okay? So on my inhale, I'm going to create that taco tongue here again. So I'm going to curl my tongue. And you kind of hear me drawing in the air through that passageway. So I'm going to inhale once again. And then I'm going to close my mouth, pause, and then I'm going to take an exhale. I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to inhale. And you can feel that cool air going through, almost like a straw through the tongue. And it just has a very calming, pacifying effect on the body. I certainly feel it in my forehead and in my temples after a few rounds. So let's go ahead and do that just for 5 cycles altogether, okay? Best possible. So on your next inhalation, let's go ahead and curl the tongue. We'll do that for 4 more rounds. Inhale. Three more. Inhale. Two more. Inhale. And last round. Inhale. I don't know about you, but I already feel cooler from just the head working its way down. So thank you for playing with that. I know it kind of seems a little bit weird at first, but just keep practicing that. Come back to that if you ever need to cool down in your practice, okay? From here, let's go ahead and make our way onto all fours. Tabletop pose, and we're just simply gonna flow through a couple cycles of cat and cow pose. So on your next inhalation, chest comes forward, heart comes forward, and then exhale, we'll dome for cat. And inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Let's go for 2 more cycles, starting on your next inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Good. On your next inhalation, let's come back into a neutral spine, tabletop pose, and then we're going to take this over into thread the needles. So on your next inhalation, that right arm is going to come up, out, and away. As you exhale, we're going to thread it underneath us, resting on that right side temple, using that left hand for support and as leverage here. You can always walk that forearm forward. settling in here, and you may notice that we're going to stay in pretty close proximity to the floor today. Again, we're not going to do any sun salutations or anything that would overheat the body right now. We're not looking to stoke the fire, right? For those of you that are familiar with the doshas in yoga, Pitta dosha is associated with heat, with that fire. So through this practice, we're looking to pacify Pitta. We'll stay here for an inhale and exhale. Gorgeous. On your next inhalation, let's go ahead and come back up onto that hand for support. We'll unthread the needle, bringing that right arm up and away. Exhale, let's go ahead and set that down. And then we'll take this on the opposite side. So on your next inhalation, we'll sweep that left arm up, out, and away. Exhale, we'll thread it under, this time resting on the left side temple here, settling into the posture. And so everything has its season, friends. Everything has its time and place. And what I love about yoga, what I love about the Hermetic principle of rhythm is that life comes in cycles, right? It comes in seasons. And we have to adjust the pace of our lives accordingly. Honoring our body, honoring its many cycles, its many paces. And right now, it just feels more appropriate to go slow, to cool the body down, to pacify that Pitta dosha. Good. And then from here, my friends, on your next inhalation, let's go ahead and press up and out of the posture. We'll bring that left arm up, out, and away. Beautiful. Exhale, we'll set it down. And then from here, my friends, let's go ahead and make our way down onto our bellies. So nice and easy, however you want to get there. If you want to take like a modified chaturanga here, you are welcome to do that. But from here, my friends, we're going to rest onto the tops of the feet. We're going to press down firmly into the palms, coming into a baby cobra pose. So nothing too strenuous here, my friends, just getting a little bit of mobility here for the spine. Good. And then exhale. Let's come back down. Now from here, friends, I want to encourage you, if you would like, you can step the hands just a touch wider. So just on the outer edges of your yoga mat. And once again, on an inhale, let's use the strength of the spine, of the core, to press ourselves up into a modified cobra pose. Gorgeous. Exhale. We'll come back down. And then one more time, friends, you can either take cobra or what we just did here with a wider stance, or if you want to take this into a seal pose, just like in yin style yoga. Beautiful. So getting just a little bit of compression here for the spine, a healthy degree of compression. Beautiful. We'll hold for an inhale. Exhale once again. Let's come all the way down back onto the belly. Now from here, we're going to get a gentle twist, also getting a little bit of shoulder opening, okay? So watch along with me, but I'm going to bring my left arm out to the side here. I'm going to rest down onto that shoulder head, and I'm simply just going to make my way onto the side of my body, using my right hand as support. Some of you may be able to step that right foot back and behind you. And what I like to do in my practice, friends, is slide that block underneath my head for added support here, okay? And again, just best possible. If this is not feeling good for whatever reason or not attainable, I want you to come back into that thread the needle pose, okay? That's more than appropriate. But again, I just want us to get a nice gentle twist here. I also want us to get a slight touch here for the chest and for the shoulder. Good. We'll hold for one more inhale and exhale. On your next inhalation, very carefully, let's come back, stacking those legs one on top of the other. Exhale, we'll start to come all the way back onto the belly, and then we'll prepare for the other side, okay? So have that block nice and handy and nearby. Now I'm gonna extend through my right arm, resting on that right shoulder head, pressing down into the left palm. I'm gonna stack my feet one on top of the other. And then if it's comfortable for you, you could take that block underneath the head. And I like it. I feel like it gives me just a little bit of space here between my shoulder and the neck region. Just something to anchor into as I come into this gentle twist, okay? And again, thread the needle is more than appropriate if you want to take that instead, okay? But we'll hold here for 2 cycles of breath, starting on your next inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Gorgeous. Once again, very slowly, with control, we'll make our way back onto our bellies, back to center. All right, now keep that block nearby. We're gonna use that in just a moment, okay? But from here, I'm gonna have you come onto your back. So if you simply just want to roll onto one side, we're gonna make our way into bridge pose. But we're gonna take this bridge pose with the block underneath the sacrum. And again, the beauty of the block is that you could take it really at any height that feels appropriate for you. About midway is what's good for me. So I'm gonna slide that right underneath my sacrum, so right at the base of my spine here. And I'm simply gonna just relax here passively, okay? So bringing my feet about hip distance apart. And again, because we're not actively pressing up in this posture, it's more than okay if you want to kind of step the feet a little bit wider and let those knees bow inward just slightly. You're more than okay to do that, okay, if that feels comfortable for you. And then I'm going to bring my arms down and alongside my body and just allow this to passively open me up in the chest region, okay? And again, just coming back to your breath, keeping it nice and even and smooth. Just enjoying this heart chest opening. Good. Okay, friends. So from here, just nice and carefully, I'm gonna lift up just a touch so I can remove the block and set it off to the side here. Good, we'll come all the way down onto the spine. Now from here, I'm gonna hook my right knee on top of my left thigh, and then I'm gonna take this over into a twist towards the left wall. So we're getting into the IT band here, getting into the lower back. Nice gentle twist here for the low belly. Good, and then we'll stay here for 2 more cycles of breath, starting on your next inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Good. On your next inhalation, let's come back to center, my friends. And if you'd like, you can uncross the legs, you can hug the knees in towards your chest. Just simply rock side to side here for just a moment before we get the other side. All right. Now from here, let's cross that left ankle over the right thigh this time, preparing for our twist here. Settling in, finding that sensation along the IT band, just on the outer edge here of the leg. And again, finding that nice gentle twist for the low belly. Once again, we'll stay here for 2 more cycles of breath, starting on your next inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. On your next inhalation, let's come back to center once again. If you'd like to hug your knees in towards your chest one more time and just gently rock side to side. Getting a nice counter pose before we continue here. Beautiful. So, last but not least, I want you to be able to take your legs either to a seat of a chair or up against an empty wall space, okay? So whatever you have available to you. I'm gonna scoot my chair in just a touch more. I'm gonna place that on my yoga mat here. And again, you can place the backs of your legs on the seat of a chair here, inching yourself just close enough, or again, if you have that empty wall space available, you can simply just relax your legs up against the wall. But we're just gonna take a moment here just to simply settle in, to integrate all of that work we just did, to allow the body to cool down, to move consciously, to work skillfully, again, with just the season of life that we're in right now. All right. So from here, friends, I want to invite you to stay with either legs up the wall or legs on a chair for as long as you need to. If you want to take Shavasana this way, you are perfectly ready to go for Shavasana or maybe a seated meditation. But I'm going to go ahead and close off this practice with you all if this is all the time that you have. So very carefully, whatever option you took, we're simply just going to roll onto one side here, using both hands as support to press ourselves up back to seated. And I will close off this practice with you all. And thank you all so much for joining me today. Thank you for exploring this principle of rhythm, for honoring this cycle and this season of your life. I hope you derived a great benefit from this class, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until next time, namaste.